Mahirap kay almost 50, 70 na body na na-retrieve ko. Tapos yung tatay ko wala pa.
On November 8, 2013, Typhoon Haiyan, the strongest tropical storm ever recorded, slammed into the eastern Visayas region of the Philippines. Torrential rain and winds of up to 195 miles per hour triggered a massive storm surge that swept over 6,000 men, women, and children to their death in the first hours of the typhoon. Tens of thousands of survivors were left desperate and homeless, their homes and livelihoods washed away in the raging floodwaters.
Naman may maabot nga bagyo, nga baskag. Ang balita, lagi nga baskag ang bagyo maabot.
Pero madalas naman kakaroon din ng bagyo rito?
Oo, pero iba yung Yolanda.
Bakit po naisip yung iba yung Yolanda?
Yung masyadong malakas ang hangin at saka yung alon masyadong malaki.
Meron akong isang pamangkin na namatay, pinsan ko, auntie ko, at pinsan ko 2 dalaga.
Paglingon ko uli, wala na po kaming bahay.
Marami na rin nawala sa amin. Parang hindi na normal yung kabuhayan namin. Sana po, kung ano man ang maibibigay niyo sa amin, bigyan niyo po kami. Lahat po ng tao nangangailangan ng tulong.
9.8 million people have been displaced by Typhoon Haiyan. The national and local government units have been overwhelmed with the colossal scale of need in the aftermath of the storm. There was a real fear over the spread of disease and illness among the survivors. Many have been relocated in overcrowded temporary refugee settlements. Through a grant from ActionAid International, WeDpro, a non-profit collective specializing in the promotion of human rights for women and children, answered the call to action and began a relief rehabilitation initiative titled Hope After Haiyan, locally known as Padayon sa Pag-laum, or Continuing Hope. In order to get aid and relief to the most vulnerable, WeDpro, servicing the towns of Palo, Leyte, and Culasi has reached out to community leaders and town health workers and volunteers to help identify 25,000 beneficiaries for the Hope After Haiyan Relief Program.
Nandito ako ngayon sa Palo dahil may project ng WeDpro sa Padayon sa Pag-laum para tumulong sa mga nasalanta ng Yolanda. Nung unang dumating kami rito, sobrang depressed pati ikaw maapektuhan ka. Yung mga narinig mo na kwento, kasi nag-umpisa talaga tayo rito, zero talaga. So mula sa umpisa ng barangay, pagbaba mo, makikita mo talaga yung depressed ng tao, yung trauma nila.
The whole point of the WeDpro assistance here in Palo for the survivors of Typhoon Yolanda is really to put in a sense of normalcy back into their lives, and into the community.
WeDpro has launched a massive effort to build or rehabilitate health centers that will help prevent disease and increase community access to good maternal and child health care.
All the clinics and all the daycare centers were really damaged, completely demolished. We knew that if there was anything, we want to move on quickly and rebuild where the barangay health units and the daycare. Why? Because when we rebuilt it, we made it disaster resilient as much as we could.
WeDpro has also launched an initiative to build or rehabilitate several daycare centers. The importance of these centers give widows and single mothers the vital ability to leave their children in a safe, nurturing environment while they go and work on behalf of their families and recover what they lost in the storm.
Nagit pangayo naman sa WeDpro, bahalan man mga bulig tungod sa mga kabataan nga kinanglan man maka-eskwela ka intsakto nga warat it istorbo.
Bahal gid siya nga bulig ka namon ang paghiwat kang paghimo kang daycare nga building nga gin-sponsoran kang WeDpro. Bahal gid siya nga bulig na dyan sa among barangay para sa mga kabataan.
Typhoon Haiyan demonstrated the vital need for storm-prone communities to have access to resilient shelters in the face of catastrophic typhoons. Together with Curiosity, a research and design firm, WeDpro launched an initiative to find cost-effective shelter solutions with the participation of stakeholder communities.
When WeDpro was contacted by ActionAid, their goal was to help out in terms of the relief and rehabilitation of the affected areas by Yolanda. And WeDpro got in touch with Curiosity to help them in the aspect of designing disaster-resilient shelters. And not only a shelter in terms of like a house, but also in terms of how will it be relevant in terms of gender for the women and also for the vulnerable sectors of society, of course, the elders or those who have disabilities.
Curiosity is already very design-driven, but I was there to help them with the technical aspects, especially when it comes to construction. So what materials will work, how much are they supposed to cost, and what are the the construction methods that will or will not work, especially in disaster-prone areas.
Right now in Palo, sad to say, there is none yet a proper evacuation center. So what we said to our constituents, our partners is, at the very least, you have the health units and the daycare that you can go to. Because when Typhoon Yolanda or Haiyan struck, they went to as usual, the elementary schools, high school, and the churches. These were not spared at all. So even the schools and the churches were completely demolished. So we thought, oh well, if that's the case, then let's rebuild something that has many purposes. A clinic as well as daycare and other use for the communities.
For the brave survivors of Haiyan, houses are no longer mere shelters. They are a symbol of starting over life anew, and it is WeDpro's privilege to be a part of this healing process. Superstorm Haiyan not only wiped out lives and homes, it also wiped out livelihoods for hundreds of thousands of Filipinos. Many women widowed by Haiyan have become the sole breadwinners for their children, and they badly need the opportunity to pursue a livelihood.
Bakit po natin pinili yung pananahi?
Dahil ito na ang aking talagang hanap buhay. Sa simula pa lang na ako, ito na talagang nakamulatan ko. Salamat talaga sa kanilang lahat. Marami silang natulungan. Lalong-lalo na ako, na siyempre marami akong anak.
Ano po talaga hihingiin, sana mabigyan ng, ang number one, parang hindi ko pa nga nakukuan, yung shelter talaga. Shelter at saka livelihood, para naman makapagsimula. Kasi, kita naman, Sir Olan, lahat, wala pang nag-aano ng bubong.
WeDpro recognizes this and has launched a program to provide these women with tools they need to reestablish their livelihoods or strike out as new entrepreneurs.
During the phase 1, which was around November to April, we had already introduced some livelihood programs. These were based on the needs of the community. In other words, we asked them, what do you need? What do you want? According to also the level of knowledge and skills. Because you cannot introduce something that's not known for them in a kind of a very rapid response, no? So that was what we call the emergency or rapid response phase.
Yung income ko talaga, sir, sa panghuli ng isda. Naghirap po kami, sir, dati kasi wala kayong panganap buhay. Pero nung nandito na kayo, yung WeDpro at saka sa Pag-laum, nagpapasalamat ako na nakabil ako ng lambat at saka bangka.
Here at the isolated island community of Manigin, WeDpro has helped to rebuild the community's seaweed farm, a critical source of income for many families living on the island.
Nalipay kami mamay SBI
daw nakatabon-tabon man sa amon mga napirdi nga tambalang.
Masayahin din ako dahil ito nakatulong kayo sa amin ganito at saka yung mga tao dito masaya rin sila.
Elsewhere in the beautiful coastal barangays of Palo and the 2 other islands of Culasi, WeDpro has provided boats, netting, and other equipment for fisherfolk, including an emergency boat that can ferry people in remote islands to hospitals and clinics on the main island.
Because Palo, or Tacloban in general, is a fishing community generally, so we provided boats. There's a selection process, etc. The most vulnerable, the neediest.
Around Leyte, WeDpro has provided micro-grants to female heads of households for a variety of different businesses, including sewing, food stalls, and vending.
Pasalamat ng marami sa naitulong sa amin ng WeDpro. Dahil kung hindi lang sila, wala kaming pagkakakitaan na kahit na ano. Ito lang.
These livelihood opportunities have been instrumental in bringing back hope and dignity to the lives of scores of women beneficiaries that WeDpro has worked with over the past several months. Superstorm Haiyan was one of the worst natural disasters the Philippines has ever faced. The horrors of the storm and the nightmare that followed has left those lucky enough to survive the storm with deep psychological scars and trauma.
Nung una talagang nablangko, hindi na namin alam. Kasi imagine, mamimili ka, patay or wounded ang dadamputin mo, tutulungan mo.
At 7 a.m., it was so windy, it was noisy. I could feel it. So for around 3 hours, it stopped a bit. So we were a bit relieved, but we saw the disaster around us. It was depressing.
As a non-profit focused around human rights issues for women and children, WeDpro understands the value of psychosocial care and work in relief and development work.
My name is Susan Kimpo. No, I'm a writer and an art therapist. No? And we were invited here. Initially, WeDpro had asked me to come because I was an art therapist. And so we brought the, it's just basically a group of friends. We're all connected by the Waldorf education system. And the whole point of emergency pedagogy is to provide children in an area with at least for a few days. Ideally, it's 2 weeks, but we can do with 2 or 3 days. Just giving the children a safe place to be children again, and there provide different activities. For example, art therapy. We recreated a kindergarten classroom. We have a lot of movement games, you know? and then sometimes also with the adults to give them some support also psychologically.
Working together with a pedagogy response team from Manila, WeDpro has worked to arrange a series of psychosocial workshops aimed at healing the psychological trauma survivors carry with them from the days of the storm. Using Waldorf and other art-based methods, this team helped both women and children survivors confront and overcome their grief and trauma in a safe and nurturing environment.
Pinakita ni Malu na pwede kang gumawa ng isang lugar o isang kwarto, pwede mong pagandahin, nakarapat dapat siya talaga sa mga bata. Na doon, merong pakiramdam ang mga bata, okay ako rito, feeling safe kahit nasa labas. Putol yung mga kahoy, walang bubong yung mga bahay, giba lahat, ang daming kalat. Dito maganda, maayos, tahimik, may order, lahat ng mga bagay nandun sa kanya-kanyang dapat na lugar.
In addition to these workshops, WeDpro, with the help from renowned practitioners in Philippine theater, organized Teatro Padayon, a special youth theater group for children of Palo, Leyte.
Hi, my name is Alex and I'm a WeDpro volunteer. I just came here like 2 months ago. I was invited to teach music. What we are basically doing is that we're trying to help kids out to express themselves and let the bad things out of their hearts.
Nakapasok ako ng WeDpro Nagkaroon kasi ng project ang WeDpro sa Angeles City. So, isa sa mga beneficiary nila ang mama ko. Tapos hanggang sa binuo nila ang isang grupo namin, grupo ng mga Americans sa Angeles City. Masarap at masaya. Kasi nakakatulong ka sa mga kapwa mo kabataan.
Ay, super po nag-enjoy ako dito sa WeDpro. Nakaka-overwhelmed kasi yung bang hindi mo makakala, may i-enhance mo yung ability mo, may i-enhance mo yung mga talent mo, yung kakayahin mo na kung magaling ka noon, parang feel mo mas gagaling ka pa kasi maraming nandito yung mga kaibigan ko na nag-advise na, ay ganyan pala. Super maganda, mas na-enhance ko pa yung kakayahan ko.
Personally, I think it's about their social abilities. It was enhanced, and the communication. During rehearsals, they unite like as one, and you can see them working as a group. That's one thing that this kids had enhanced. The most satisfying part is meeting these guys, these children. It made me appreciate life much more. It made me value it.
Masasabi ko kasi na napakaswerte ko dahil hindi ako nakaranas ng ganitong dilubyo sa buhay ko.
It was part really of our psychosocial. It started in the context of psychosocial. We wanted to reach out to the youth. But again, when we asked them, in fact, there's a strange but common story. When we said yung along the way of you need psychosocial intervention, counseling, we talk, in very plain language, and they said, we don't need that because we need to move on and live.
These children played an active role in writing the script, songs, and choreography for a play that expressed the horrific ordeal they went through during Superstorm Haiyan, and their belief that they still can have a bright future despite all that they lost in the storm. At the end of the workshop, the youths of Teatro Padayon staged several jam-packed performances around Palo and Tacloban City. Working together with the survivors of Superstorm Haiyan, WeDpro has worked to bring back the light of hope to women and children across the Visayas region of the Philippines. But the work is not over. For the survivors of Superstorm Haiyan, the ordeal has not ended. WeDpro plans to continue to empower their beneficiaries through sustainable livelihood training. This training will help give the most marginalized and vulnerable the ability to establish more resilient livelihood and spring back sooner when displaced again by another disaster like Haiyan.
Unti-unti na po kaming makakahon kung talagang may makakatulong po sa amin.
Pasalamat gid kami sa Ginoo ay may grasya nga nagaabot-abot ka naman. Kundi nga amo ginakain naman. Pero kung marating grasya nga nagaabot ka naman, patay gid kami pigado gid.
Please support WeDpro in its ongoing mission to bring back hope to the people of the Visayas after Haiyan.